ladies and gentlemen, and a very warm welcome to yet another CA live session, which has been brought to you specially by CA Sri Lanka. Now, this initiative is one of the numerous initiatives that have been brought by the Institute, which is to ensure to give all the CA students an opportunity to interact with all the CA staff or the resource personnel that have been connected or are connected with CA. So this is one of the many CA live sessions, and today's program, we will be focusing on how to increase your global demand as a dual qualified professional with ICAEW as well as CA Sri Lanka. And today we have joining us 5 eminent personalities who will be joining us as facilitators as well as presenters. To briefly introduce you, we have the facilitators. We have Mr. Daniel Wesley with me, the Senior Business Development Manager from ICAEW, as well as Ms. Lakmali Priyangika, Director Student Affairs, as well as Ms. Himashi Dimel, a Coordinator for ICAEW, as well as a lecturer in Business School in Asia Pacific Institute of Information Technology. We warmly welcome you all. Thank you all for joining us this evening. And we also warmly welcome all our attendees and our students that are here with us this evening. And we are looking forward to a very, very productive session. And while welcoming our facilitators, we also welcome our presenters that have joined with us. We have Mr. Kamindu Rubindra, a financial accountant from IFRS 17 Munich Re from United Kingdom, who is a member of CA Sri Lanka as well as ICAEW. We also warmly welcome Ms. Kushmi Amarasinghe, Assistant Manager, Tax and Regulatory from KPMG, who is a student of CA Sri Lanka and ICAEW. So we have a wide representation, and we are now ready to proceed with our session of questions as well as answers. So just a quick reminder that at the end of this session, you will have the opportunity to speak to our facilitators and presenters during the Q&A session, where you can either raise your hand and ask the question yourself, or you are more than welcome to use the chat option on this platform and present your questions, which we will direct to our panelists. So to start off with, I will start off with Ms. Lakmali and Ms. Daniel, because CA Sri Lanka and ICAEW has entered into a historical agreement over the past. So just to speak a little bit about the agreement and the dual membership scheme, could you tell us, I'll direct first question to you, Mr. Daniel. What is the dual membership scheme actually, and why has ICAEW entered an arrangement like this with CA Sri Lanka? Could you take us through that?
Of course I can. Thank you very much. Thank you for having me. So, as the Institute of Chartered Accountants of England and Wales, we are very much about building partnerships globally with professional institutes around the world. We have agreements with various accountancy bodies, whether they're national bodies in the countries, various countries around the world, or international bodies as well. So we're all about partnerships and finding ways in or routes towards becoming members of ICAEW, as well as, in this case, CA Sri Lanka. So it's all about the partnerships, all about having different arrangements and different agreements and flexible ways for people to be able to enter into the profession of chartered accountancy. And we're particularly excited about this agreement that we have with CA Sri Lanka, because it truly is groundbreaking and it's truly one of a kind. It's very, very unique. So ICAEW have agreements with about 30 national bodies or institutes around the world, various different levels of agreements, from recognition to reciprocal arrangements. But this one that we have here is a dual qualification, and it's a joint student and membership scheme. which basically means that aspiring chartered accountants here in Sri Lanka can obtain membership of both CA Sri Lanka and ICAEW simultaneously. So in the past and before this scheme was introduced here to Sri Lanka, individuals that wanted to qualify to become ICAEW would have to sit their local exams first and then go through some additional training and additional exams with ICAEW after completing their local CA exams. But this new scheme, we're excited to say, saves a lot of that time and money and exam preparation, and it means that people can qualify simultaneously with both CA Sri Lanka and ICAEW. So we're very excited.
We are equally excited as well. And okay, so you mentioned a little bit of the benefits. So could I ask you to take us a little bit through a little bit more of the benefits that we will get, because you mentioned that there will be a lot of time saved and also opportunities that will be created. Could you also take us a little bit about the unique benefits that ICAEW can provide through this dual membership scheme as well?
Absolutely. So we're truly an international organisation. So whilst we are the Institute of Chartered Accountants of England and Wales, we actually have members in over 145 countries. We've got about 170,000 chartered accountants or 170,000 ICAEW members across all of those countries. So what that means is we've got the influence of those members working in very key organisations, from accountancy practices, so in the Big Four or across all of the profession of accountancy, but in very well-known brands and commercial businesses as well, where ICAEW chartered accountants will be in place as CFOs, CEOs in some cases, managers of, and heads of finance as well. So because we have those members in all of those places, it means there is this recognition for ICAEW all across the globe. So we see, and we've already seen many examples. I think we've got a speaker later today dialing in from London, who is someone who has qualified here in Sri Lanka and has since used that platform to broaden his horizons into other markets and into other countries and build his experience by working in other countries and markets. But other benefits that we add in terms of the value that is added to our membership is through all of the things that we provide members after they qualify with ICAEW. So there's a number of courses, there's a number of communities and faculties, as we call them, that members can sign up to ensure that they're getting real up-to-date and very current, very relevant information that will help them to grow as a business person or as a chartered accountant, regardless of what area that they're working in or what sector that they're working in. We support them throughout their career through a whole variety of resource to make sure that they are staying up to date and maintaining and growing and building their careers.
That sounds wonderful. And that actually brings me to my next question, and I'd like to direct it to you, Ms. Lakmani. What are the job opportunities? Because he took us through a little bit about it. What exactly, in your opinion, would be the job opportunities available for a student who pursues both ICAEW and CA Sri Lanka memberships in the local and the international market? Could you take us through that, please?
Thank you, Ravindra. First of all, I must say that the CA alone, CA Sri Lanka, the membership alone itself is a global qualification. Therefore, now if you take the our membership, we have almost 8,000 active members at the moment. So out of them, almost 40% of those members are very much or very well placed in the global context in various countries. It can be Middle East, UK, Australia, Canada. So our members with the CA qualification alone also have a good global recognition. And I, as a member of this same institute, I also enjoyed such benefits only by having my CA membership. I also had a very successful career in the Middle East for about 10 years. So there's no doubt about it. But now the world is changing. The future is the students. The opportunities are more than those days. And ICAEW, as we all know, it is the most prestigious accounting body in the world. As so much so we call it as the birthplace of accounting, ICAEW. So it is a great privilege that our students are getting to get the CA qualification and the ICAEW qualification at the same time. That is what Daniel was explaining simultaneously. You can get 2 qualifications within the same duration, within the same study period. So talking about the job opportunities. So I think all our students, is no need to say that, so the more the merrier, right? So being a chartered accountant with the ICAEW qualification, dual membership, I mean, it is obviously whether it can be local, it can be any other countries globally, your opportunities, the bracket, the opportunity bracket will be wide. So that I think it's like a jewel, it's like a, you are collecting some jewels in your, you must be doing degrees, you must be doing other qualification. This will be definitely bring a lot of light to your list of qualifications. And therefore, your the opportunities in the job market will be increased. And also I will add a little more now. The chartered accountant is a very versatile professional. So we build our chartered accountants not only do accounting, right? So we are looking at a profession. We are building professionals whom can be taken up any job, right? It can be an accountant, it can be a CEO, it can be operational person, so that for that chartered accountant, that CA Sri Lanka chartered accountant with the ICAEW qualification, definitely the opportunities will be more.
That sounds wonderful. And since we have a lot of CA students that have joined with us today, I'm sure that all of them or most of them would also like to know how to register for this. Because like we mentioned, there are so many opportunities. So could you also take us through how the students, the CA students, can register with the ICAEW dual membership scheme?
Yes, it's very easy. Actually, our students has to come through us. So you have to send an email to lakmini.perera@casrilanka.org. Our students are familiar with our email addresses and all. Go to our website, go to the contact us page, and under education sector, Lakmini's email address is there. I think in this video, can we, in the chat, I think they will post the email address, lakmini.perera@casrilanka.org. So send an email to Lakmini, and Lakmini will liaise that your inquiry with ICAEW. So Lakmini will be the person who is coordinating with ICAEW. She will be sending those information of yours to ICAEW, and from there you will get an email from ICAEW with the link of their the access to their sort of LMS, we call it. It's they call it student training portal, but that has a lot of study material. So as soon as that process is done, you send the email to Lakmini. She will send your details to ICAEW, and you will get a direct email from ICAEW with the link to their material. So that is the first step that you have to do, and thereafter our CA staff will guide you, or even the ICAEW staff will guide you the next steps.
Thank you, Ms. Lakmani. And now, since we've spoken a little bit about the registration process, because with registration also comes a fee, which I would like to direct to you, Mr. Daniel. Could you take us through how the students need to pay a registration fee, or do the students need to pay a registration fee? And are there any exemption fees that are applicable when registering with ICAEW?
So, as I mentioned earlier, this is hugely unique opportunity for students here in Sri Lanka to come on what is the only agreement in the world of this nature. So we've worked extremely hard at ICAEW to ensure that that is affordable here in Sri Lanka as well. So there is no registration costs. So usually students to sign up with a ICAEW, they have to pay a student registration fee. We have waived that for students that want to join this program. And the same is for our exemptions as well. So we're not expecting students to pay for exemptions. So in order to sign up and initially become an ICAEW student, there is no charge whatsoever.
That sounds wonderful and definitely a benefit for all RCA students. And okay, so since there are no exemption fees or registration fees that will be charged, let's speak a little bit about examinations, because exams do play a huge part of this. So maybe I can direct my next question to you, Ms. Lakmali. What are the examinations that are required to complete at CA Sri Lanka in order to be eligible for the dual membership scheme?
Yes, Dhamindra, the students have to complete up to the corporate level. So you have to complete all the knowledge modules in the business level 1, business level 2, and the corporate level with the relevant skill pillar subjects also. Right? And once you complete your corporate level, now you are going into the strategic level. So you have 4 subjects in the strategic level and 1 case study. So that is our structure. So what you do, you will be doing 2 subjects, which is SL3 and 2. SL2 and 3, you will be doing according to CA Sri Lanka curriculum, and SL1 and SL4 equivalent subjects as per the ICAEW curriculum. So you will be anyway doing 4 subjects, 2 as per CA, 2 as per ICAEW, and then the case study as per ICAEW. So if you take that final level, strategic plus case study as 5 subjects, you will be doing 2 here, SL2 and 3, and SL1 and 4 equivalent subjects and the case study as per ICAEW. So you will be anyway doing 5 simultaneously. And I thought I must give a little bit of explanation what Daniel has just told you. This is a very unique opportunity. I think we are the only institute in the world. I am sometimes I feel sad that our students really don't take this advantage, if I use that word. So this is the only, our CA Sri Lanka is the only institute got this opportunity of free registration, no exemption fee, nothing, right? So all what you have to do is to do those 3 subjects as per ICAEW and 2 subjects as per our syllabus. So I frankly believe that is the best opportunity to our students available in the market at the moment, because I know some of the students are, they must be weighing, between a local qualification and a global qualification, something. But why don't you try this? You do CA Sri Lanka, see our exams, which you are very much familiar, and then when you come to the final level, do both together, which is cost effective also, because you don't want to do any exemption fee, nothing, all very, very cost effective. I frankly believe this is the best opportunity ever happened to our CA Sri Lanka student. And we have in the audience, I don't know, the students can see, we have our CA Student Society officers, including the president and the top the EXCO officers are here. Dominda Self is our student. So please spread the word among your student population. This is a very, very good opportunity for you all. Please make use of it.
Thank you, Ms. Lakmali. Also, I would like to pick up a little bit about how you mentioned that this can be done simultaneously. Is that a possibility? So we can sit for the ICAEW and CA Sri Lanka exams at the same time, simultaneously. Can we do that? Is that all right?
Yeah, sure. So yeah, Lakmali's explained it all brilliantly. So yes, as soon as you've completed the corporate level exams of the CA Sri Lanka syllabus, you would be eligible to join and sign up for this program, to sign up as an ICAEW student as well, which means, as Lakmali pointed out, there are 5 exams to be completed, 2 from CA Sri Lanka and 3 from ICAEW. and they can be sat simultaneously. So you can prepare for SL2 and SL3 at the same time as perhaps one of the ICAEW exams, which are the corporate reporting exam, strategic business management, and then a case study exam. So they can all be sat simultaneously. However, the one very slight difference, I guess, is that the case study exam has to be the last exam that's taken, because the case study exam would be assessing you on everything that you've learned to that date. So that needs to be sat as the final exam.
Okay. And speaking a little bit about, because now, since we've spoken a little bit about exams, let's also speak a little bit about the practical training requirement, because most of our students, or most of the CA students, have to undergo the practical training. So how does it work here? Do the students have to fulfill the practical training requirements at CA Sri Lanka before applying for ICAEW, or how does that work? Can you take us through that process?
Of course. So at ICAEW, we pride our qualification and the way that members qualify to become chartered accountants with us. We are proud of the training that they have to go through, and that's a big element that's included for people to become work-ready, competent chartered accountants from wherever they are in the world. So that training program is obviously mandatory in order to qualify as a chartered accountant with ICAEW. So as I'm sure CA Sri Lanka very much pride themselves on their training program. So in order for us to reach this agreement that we have for dual membership, we have gone through a process to review the training that needs to happen under CA Sri Lanka training contracts, and we have recognised that as equivalent to ICAEW. So that means that there is no additional training requirement for people to qualify via this dual membership scheme. And in terms of training, they don't have to have completed their training necessarily before joining ICAEW, but usually by the time they've completed the corporate level and entering into the ICAEW element of the qualification, they would more than likely have completed 2 years up from what I understand of the training program.
Okay, that does make sense. All right. Okay, so speaking a little bit about the ICAEW advanced level exams, when can a student sit for the ICAEW advanced level exams? Could you take us through that so that we can take it through that pathway as well? Could you take us through that?
Yeah, sure. So there are 2 windows throughout the year that students can sit the ICAEW exams, and that is in July and November. So there are 2 periods of the year where you can do so. There is an opportunity to register for those exams that opens in May. So if you're looking to prepare for the July exams, then now is definitely the time to start preparing for those exams so that you give yourself as much time as possible to attend lectures and attend classes if needed, and to start preparing for those exams. And then in May, that's when you would physically book that exam. So you can book your place at an exam centre to sit the exam.
Okay. I add a little for that. Now see, now in our case, our exams, CA Sri Lanka exam, we have in June and December. And ICAEW exams are in July and November. So you can plan it out. Say you can, if you are selecting the subjects, so you can do say 1 subject or 2, whatever. I don't say to do 1 by 1, but if you really do in July, in June exam, CA Sri Lanka, if you target to do SL 2 and 3, then you can plan to do the ICA other 2 exams in November, SL1 and SL4 equivalent subjects. So, so you can plan your exams in that way also.
Thank you, Ms. Lakmal. Actually, since you mentioned a little bit about the local exams, CA exams as well, I would also like to do this question to you, Ms. Daniel, actually, because is it necessary or is it mandatory to purchase the study materials for the advanced level subjects to sit for the ICAEW subjects for the exams, or is it possible for us to refer the local study text that we have? Is that a possibility?
So it's not mandatory. We don't mandate that anyone does that. However, the chances for students to get through their exams first time and competently to get through those exams are much higher, much more increased if they do go with a ICAEW approved tuition provider, and if they are purchasing the ICAEW learning materials. So the ICAEW learning materials are all digital now, so we don't produce textbooks anymore. So everything is digital and very easy to use and easily accessible. So we have a number of options as well in terms of ways to learn and tuition. And I believe we're going to hear later from one of our partners in learning, so those that are offering the tuition here in Sri Lanka. So we absolutely see and have the stats to back up the fact that students that do sign up with tuition providers that are authorised by ICAEW give themselves a much better chance to pass the exam. So not mandatory, but strongly recommended.
Okay, so since it is strongly recommended, could you also take us a little bit through how we can purchase those study materials for the ICAEW exams?
Yeah, sure. So in terms of the tuition, so that is handled by the tuition provider, who, as we say, is talking later, so I'm sure they can talk through that process a bit more themselves. But in terms of the ICAEW study text, so the learning resources that sit alongside our exams, so those digital learning resources, they can be purchased through the ICAEW bookshelf, which is available for students to go on and purchase those digital books. But I'm happy to say that for students joining this year, we're able to actually offer those textbooks or those digital textbooks for free of charge for people that do sign up for a limited time and signing up for this scheme individually. So any students that are interested to prepare for those July exams, then we can certainly organise access to those learning resources for free.
So that's one of the other benefits as
Absolutely.
well, I guess. All right. Okay.
I prefer, Jaminda, if you tell it again, because sometimes some students may not be able to catch at once, but Daniel was saying if you can, that's a very good news for the students.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah.
So it is indeed a very good news, because there is no charge. Okay, so there is no charge for exemptions that will be taken. There is no registration fees, and now we have free of charge, could we say free of charge, for the study materials as well, which will be very useful for you, and a major advantage of the dual membership program or the agreement that has been entered into by CA Sri Lanka and ICAEW. So this is definitely a chance that you do not want to miss out on, and definitely need to consider as well. Okay, so since we have so many benefits from this, could we also speak a little bit about the investment, about the total investment for a student to complete the ICAEW requirements?
Of course, yeah. So we've talked a lot about how we've worked really hard to make this affordable for people in Sri Lanka and for students in Sri Lanka. But clearly there needs to be a cost attached somewhere. So the students would have to pay for their exams for ICAEW. So whenever they do book those exams, as I mentioned, there's a period of time in May where they can book to sit the July exam. When they do book that exam, that's when they would have to make payment to sit that exam. So in terms of the cost, so for corporate reporting exam and for the strategic business management exam, they are £192 each to book that exam. And then for the case study exam, it's actually £272 to book that exam.
Okay, and these are for the exams, and since we are benefiting from the exemption fees and the registration fees and the study pack material charges, the exemptions from that, this is definitely a great deal that all of you should and are recommended to consider as well. All right, so before we, or rather, another question that we do have is relevant to, I'll direct it once again to you, Ms. Daniel. It's about the ICAEW Online Ethics Learning Program, because it is something that needs to be completed. Could you take us through that, and do the students need to pass this requirement?
Yes, absolutely. So ethics is a huge part of what we preach and what we talk about as a chartered accountant. Clearly, trust and integrity from finance professionals is hugely important. So regardless of whatever route anyone joins ICAEW, whether they join through experience routes, whether they join through student routes, whether they're sitting our full qualification, they have to go through a process which assesses their understanding and assesses that they understand the importance of ethics. So we do have an ethics learning program, which is has to be completed. It can be sat in your own time. It's an e-learning program that is on the ICAEW website. It can be sat alongside the exams, so in your own time and at your own pace. So it's a series of interactive videos, questionnaires, and then there's a short assessment at the end, which ensures that you've taken on all of the information that's covered in that e-learning. And then there's a short test at the end that you have to complete as well.
Okay, wonderful. And okay, all right. So since we have more questions to ask, but since we will be speaking to a tuition provider, the representatives from the tuition providers as well, I would like to take this opportunity to thank Ms. Lakmali for joining us at the moment, and she will be joining us for the Q&A session once again. So keep your questions ready because Ms. Lakmali will be joining us during the Q&A session. But until then, Ms. Lakmali, thank you very much for joining us for this brilliant and very productive conversation that we just had. And we're definitely looking forward to meeting you once again at the Q&A session.
Thank you, Devi.
Thank you, could I take this opportunity to invite Ms. Himashi Dimel, who will be representing APIIT, or rather who is a coordinator for ICAEW and a lecturer in the business school in Asia Pacific Institute of Information Technology. Thank you very much for joining, Ms. Himashi. It's lovely to have you here.
Thank you so much for inviting us here, Anita.
The pleasure is all ours. So before we speak a little bit more about exams and tuition, the benefits of tuition and all of that, could you take us a little bit through the APIIT campus as such? Could you take a little bit of that?
Definitely. So APIIT is like the most recognized brand name for Asia Pacific Institute of Information Technology. And we have been there for more than 20 years because we have started our establishment with APIIT Malaysia during year 1999. And so we have our longest partnership with Staffordshire University, UK. And at present, we do offer their internal degree programs in business, computing, and law. And also at present, we have produced more than 5,000 graduates, and we do have about 1,500 annual intake of students. And at the same time, we are very proud to say that our students get employed, 90% of our students get employed within the first 3 months of graduation. So along with the Staffordshire University, we also do have partnership with NC UK to offer their pathway programs, and also with Pearson UK to offer their HND High National Diploma qualifications as well. So the latest addition to our partnership is with ICAEW to offer this professional qualification at APIIT. So in addition to that, we are located at the heart of Colombo, and also we do have well-equipped classrooms, as well as we have well-resourced libraries, as well as the state-of-art computer labs, where students can definitely utilize if they join with APIIT to do their ICAEW programs.
Wonderful. And we have a lot more questions to ask about APIIT. But until then, before we speak about the exam process preparations for the ICAEW exams and the facilities as well, let's take a quick look at the ICAEW exams once again, and I'd like to direct it to you, Mr. Daniel. How can a student sit for the ICAEW exams? Could you take us through that process once again, if that's okay?
Yeah, absolutely. So all ICAEW exams are computer-based. So we use software and technology all through our computer-based exams that will be assessing students on their application of the knowledge that they have and their application of skills. So we're all about very practical skills, practical training, and the exam methodology works in a way that it's assessing people's application of skills as well. So we're not testing people on how well they can learn technical areas or standards of accountancy. It's how they work as a chartered accountant. So all of our exam softwares that we use will be doing exactly that. So there are various ways that can be sat. So it's an exam in a exam centre, so a British council, for example, or any exam centre that we've identified here in Sri Lanka that's set up to offer those computer-based exams. So that is a very common route and the more traditional route for ICAEW exams. But we have recently introduced remote invigilation, which is a way for students to be able to sit their exams from home or from work. So it just means that as long as they've got a secure private environment and they've got the right computer specifications and a strong internet connection, then they're able to actually complete that exam from home, which is obviously makes the qualification and makes the exams very accessible and very practical from that sense as well.
Yeah, and what about the ACA exam results as well? How does that process work? Is that the same process or how does that work?
So yeah, students would receive their exam results directly from ICAEW.
Okay, that's perfect. All right, so okay, then speaking a little bit about the facilities, because we spoke a little bit about the facilities before. How can you take us through, Ms. Himashi? I'd like to direct this question to you. How can a student join for the classes? Could you take us through the course fees and as well as the duration as well?
Okay, as like Molly and Daniel explained before, so once the student registered with ICAEW, they can come and reach us at APIIT and they can get themselves enrolled for the facilities at APIIT. So once they are registered, so we are looking at a duration of 4 to 5 months, targeting the 2 examination windows of July and November. And also, so the key reason to have it for a duration of 4 to 5 months is so we can provide the course content as well as we will be able to facilitate the students with some mock examinations to get them prepared to face the examination successfully. So in terms of the fees, they will have to pay a fee of LKR 360,000. But the best thing is they don't have to pay everything upfront, where we have a range of payment options which they can utilize.
Okay, that sounds wonderful. And also this is speaking a little, because since you spoke about the course program and the course fees, Mr. Daniel, I would like to direct my next question towards you, because the facilities for the students, because of as a result of the MOU that was signed, there are a lot of facilities that have become a part of the MOU as well. So could you take us through the facilities for the students to get tuition for these ICAEW subjects in Sri Lanka? I believe APIIT is a big integral part of it. Could you take us through that as well?
Yeah, sure. So we have obviously been partnering with APIIT here to offer tuition directly for those that want that face-to-face interaction. But we do have some online options as well. And we also provide a whole host of material which supports students in their preparation for their exams as well. So once students have signed up with ICAEW as one of our dual member students, dual scheme students, then they will be able to access things like past papers, past questions. They can set themselves up a mock exam so that they can get all that resource directly from ICAEW to make sure that they are fully prepared for that exam date when that comes. So I mentioned the exam software earlier. You know, I think it's vitally important that people are comfortable with using that software before the exam date. So obviously having that access to our website and using that resource that we give students to prepare, it means that there's not going to be any nasty shocks on the day of the exam and they can turn up feeling confident and ready to sit and pass that exam.
Definitely. And okay, so since we spoke a little bit about there being online facilities, could you take us through how the classes are conducted at APIIT as well? Are there physical classes? Are there online classes? And could you take us through the facilities that the students can get when they join APIIT as well?
So Dhamindra, at the moment, we are having in-person classes because the key reason is we do understand most of the students have faced the examinations and they do understand, but this is a UK qualification and there is a bit of preparation that is necessary, and also we need to get them ready for the case study. So we believe rather than facilitating it through an online environment, if we facilitate it in person, there is a better opportunity for students to capture the learning. So because of that, at present, we are having our classes in person.
Okay, and this is in Colombo, is that
Yes,
right?
in our Colombo main campus.
All right, okay, perfect. And could you also take us through the enrolling process as well? Because when students, or when can the students enroll for the classes? And because most of our students are also working, and is there a possibility to attend weekday classes or like evening classes or any weekend classes? Could you take us through that?
Yeah, so enrollments are ongoing and they can definitely reach us at APIIT and through our hotline or through our email, and they can get themselves enrolled. In terms of the classes, yes, we do understand most of the students are working, hence we have arranged all our classes, or we are running our classes on weekends, mainly on Saturdays and Sundays.
Okay, that makes sense. And so there are no evening classes or so on. Is that still
Not as yet.
All right. Yeah. Okay, that sounds wonderful. And okay, so before we move on to our Q&A session, or rather, yeah, before we move on to our Q&A sessions, we do have presentations. And so before we move on to our presentations, we would like to thank both of you for joining us for this question session. It has been very fruitful. Thank you very much, Mr. Daniel. Thank you, Mr. Mashi, for joining us. And we would like to now invite Mr. Kamindu Ravindra to present to us. He is a member of CA Sri Lanka as well as ICAEW. And could we take this opportunity to cordially invite Mr. Kamindu Ravindra to take over the session and conduct the presentation. Mr. Kamindu, over to you.
Thank you for your warm welcome, and glad to be here, and thanks for inviting me. Being a chartered accountant opened me a world of opportunities, and that's a decision in my life which I'm always proud about. If I may add a word, from where did I hear about ICAEW? Back in my university time, we had a final year subject called Advanced Accounting Theory, which speaks about how the accounting revolves throughout the period. And moving on, very first few slides, I've seen the ICAEW. The Chartered Accountants Hall was predominant in accounting as a profession. That's where I heard about the ICAEW, and at that point in time, I determined one day I'm going to be at Chartered Accountants Hall in London. That was I determined back in somewhere around 2018 or 19. But after a few years down the line, with the help of CA Sri Lanka, I was able to achieve my dream. Why do we need to consider ICAEW? Why do we need to consider additional qualification? If I may explain, ICAEW opens vast number of opportunities for your career, not only from your professional development, but also from your personal development as well. If I give some background, I finished my university, and at the same time, I was able to qualify as a chartered accountant in CA Sri Lanka. At that point in time, I worked for one of the Big Four firms, and soon as I completed my chartered accountancy, I got a job opportunity in a European country called Malta. So I directly flew to Malta to continue my career. As Ms. Lakmali rightly mentioned, CA Sri Lanka yet alone is a solid qualification for us to pursue our career goals. When I was in Malta, I wanted to explore the other parts of the world. That's why I thought to myself, I have to study for another qualification which has more predominance existent in global arena. That's why I picked ICAEW. And at that point in time, as I was already a member of CA Sri Lanka, I had to complete the remaining 3 subjects in advanced level for me to qualify as a ICAEW Chartered Accountant. Then I started these 3 subjects, and by 2021, I was able to complete ICAEW all 3 subjects. Then I started my job applying process. By the time when I apply for job vacancies, I've seen and I've realized that there is a higher number of chances that my profile being screened and that my profile being selected by the recruiters. And when I was trying for opportunities, I had 6 solid offers in my hand for me to pick a one in number of European countries, including UK, Ireland, Switzerland, the Netherlands, and Germany, and Cayman Islands. As you could realize, this qualification allowed me a vast number of opportunities, not across Europe, but across the other part of the world as well. It's a widely recognized qualification. Out of this one-off qualification, one of a reinsurance company based in Switzerland has specifically looked for a ICAEW Chartered Accountant, which clearly shows the predominance and the power and impact of this qualification. And out of these qualifications, as I was quite interested in practicing in United Kingdom and pursuing my career in UK, I chose my job opportunity, the next career adventure to be in London. At the moment, I work as a financial accountant in a London German-based company. And it's also worth mentioning, when I'm in UK, usually the current career platform, current job seeking platform is more or less recruiter based. So for an example, in historically, we screen through all the vacancies by applicants and then we applied for vacancies. But in modern world, it doesn't work on like that way. Now recruiters, there are professional recruiters who are looking to job hunt. And these recruiters directly contact to applicants using modern professional platform such as LinkedIn and way of email and other collaboration. As you could surprise for the time being, I usually get number of messages from LinkedIn to pursue and to number of messages from LinkedIn about different career opportunities in UK and other part of the world. And I believe being a chartered accountant in ICAEW provides me number of opportunities and vast variety of options for me to consider. And it's again worth mentioning, even though ICAEW is a UK-based qualification, it's widely recognized throughout the world. As we might already know, in Asia, it's getting popular, and in other parts of America, Canada, and Europe as a large, ICAEW has a predominance existent. Therefore, I believe ICAEW from career perspective, it definitely helped me to explore more opportunities, to have more options into my career. Not only that, being a chartered accountant in ICAEW also opened me opportunities in other aspects as well. For an example, if one need to consider looking for higher education, for an example, MSc or MBA, when you apply for universities, you may get number of exemptions because you hold associate chartered accountant position qualification in ICAEW. For an example, there is one university based in London, which offer nearly 12 subjects out of 15 subjects in the MBA curriculum. And there is another famous university. Again, it offers nearly 10 subjects out of their 15 subjects in their curriculum for MBA. This shows the predominance, existence, and the powerful impact ICAEW has on the accounting arena. And of course, it's worth mentioning that CA Sri Lanka, along with ICAEW, has opened this golden gate for you to now complete a dual qualification. Back in the day, we were not able, this scheme was not available. We had to complete advanced level subjects. Following, we become a member of CA Sri Lanka. But now, this is a golden opportunity for you, because now you don't need to sit for CA Sri Lanka subjects, but you can directly sit to ICAEW subject, and at the end gain qualification from 2 prestige organizations, which is quite amazing. And it comes with attractive background. For an example, from financial terms, you have number of benefits, incentives for you to continue this journey. And this is some background about my story and how I find ICAEW as a predominantly powerful accounting qualification. Along with that, I would like to go through with my exam experience with ICAEW to evaluate and to reflect my recollections about ICAEW journey. As we all know, ICAEW is all the advanced level subjects in ICAEW are held in a computer-based platform, and therefore sometimes we may have a reluctance, as it's a computer-based software and it's a computer-based environment. I believe later on Pushmi will also add few points on this actual exam environment. However, exam-based software, the computer-based software provides more efficiencies to our actual exam experience. For an example, we can actually view question along with the appendices of the question. And also we can open the study text along with our question screen. Therefore, if you may need to copy paste certain part from the question or study text, it would allow and save more time for you. And again, being more familiarized to computer-based exam, computer-based techniques is a skill, an essential skill, which you need in your day-to-day life. And definitely the direction that ICAEW taking their examination experience is in the right direction. So the next time, the next phase of our technology always revolves around the new technology, and having this computer-based software is one of key innovation which ICAEW add into the exam experience. And definitely, in my view, it brings many efficiencies rather than bringing more challenges to your exam experience. And another key area which I would like to address about the English language, when you think about a UK-based qualification, sometimes you may think that English language would be a key barrier for you to go through with these exams. But it's worth mentioning, Daniel has also explained, as Daniel also has explained during his speech, this is an exam, this is a platform which is designed to address your technical competency. Of course, you need basic level of English proficiency for you to go through these subjects. However, if you have the right technical knowledge and if you have the right technical skills, that's the most key ingredient for you to success in your exam. And I want to suspend the disbelief that English language would be a key barrier for you to go through with these exams. And other aspect which I want to cover regarding the investment. As you might appreciate, the exam fees you have to pay, but it's in British pounds. And you may see once you convert it, it's a significant amount of money. But a point worth mentioning, when you spend something on education, always view it as an investment rather than an expense. Because if you consider once you get a job, even in Sri Lanka, it could be in other part of the world, the recovery period, there's a concept called payback period in our management terms, it's very much less. So don't think about current, recent future about your expense, but think it as an investment. Then you would realize the bigger picture of the story. And definitely, as discussed during the panelist session, there are many incentives for you to consider this opportunity. It's a once in rare opportunity for you to get into this scheme, because now there are many incentives, many benefits which you can gain from this scheme. And with that, I would also like to touch upon few experiences about my exam experience with ICAEW. I did my subjects back in 2020 and 21. And as I mentioned, there are basically 3 pathways which you could become a chartered accountant in ICAEW. The first path is the dual membership, dual scheme, whereas you can simultaneously study ICAEW and CA Sri Lanka subjects, and you sit only for ICAEW exams, and then you get the qualification from the both institutes. And there is the other one called top-up approach, which was followed by me, because the dual qualification was not exist at the time I sit for the exam. What I did, I became a member of CA Sri Lanka, and then I had to complete remaining 3 subjects. That's why it took me more time, energy to complete the additional 3 subjects rather than completing ICAEW compared to dual scheme. As you could appreciate, dual scheme is relatively efficient and it's fast. And the last pathway which you could become an ICAEW member is you become a member of CA Sri Lanka, and after attaining 5 years of work experience, then you can sit for a interview, and there's a assignment which you need to submit. Once you complete this, again, you can get the membership from ICAEW, subject you go through all of these criteria. As I followed top-up approach, I sat for corporate reporting, strategic business management, and case study exam separately. I'm not planning to go into so much detail about these subjects and my exam experience, but I will touch upon few flavors about it. In terms of the corporate reporting, as I completed my already completed my chartered accountancy by the time, I found it that there are more similarities between the curriculum in CA Sri Lanka and corporate reporting in ICAEW. For an example, there were subjects from corporate governance, there were subjects from consolidation, there were topics from auditing and assurance, and I was able to easily relate the knowledge which I gathered from CA Sri Lanka to ICAEW. Therefore, I didn't attend to any additional tuition, but I self-studied it using ICAEW exam study text, and especially the question bank. What I did, the question bank, I found it really helpful because it allows you to experience how actual exam software looks like and how it's the functionalities of the actual exam software. And I practiced the question bank in a really good manner. then was able to go through the corporate reporting subject. And strategic business management is more or less related to management accounting concepts, and it has certain topics about budgeting, forecasting, and other management information. Again, as I've seen more similarities between the subjects which I've learned from CA Sri Lanka curriculum, I decided to go with self-study for this SBM subject as well. However, in terms of the case study subject, I realized that case study is a assessment which is designed to assess technical competency as well as application of the technical knowledge. Therefore, there is a written assessment which you need to write within a 4 hour, and the assessment is based on evaluating your ability to present and explain a business case to board of directors or senior management. In that respect, I found that answering to case study is a technique which I need to improve, and answering to case study is a new skill which I need to improve. Therefore, I decided to attend to a tuition provider to work on this case study. However, one key point which is worth mentioning, the pass rates of ICAEW. If you could simply Google about the recent pass rates of ICAEW, you might wonder, because for corporate reporting, the pass rate is somewhere around 80%. And for strategic business management, pass rate is 75%. And case study, it's again somewhere around 80%, which is relatively higher. It is a clear indication. If you put right level of effort, dedication, this is not a hard thing for you to go through. But definitely worth mentioning, you have to put your effort, you have to put your hard work, but it's not a hard exam. With proper planning and right execution, you will be able to open this gate and be a ICAEW member as well as CA Sri Lanka member. When I look at it back as a recollection, being a chartered accountant in both of these prestige organizations allowed me many opportunities, both in my career perspective and also from my professional development also. For an example, there are a number of communities which you could consider attending in ICAEW. For an example, for financial services, there are different communities. For banking, there are different communities. And there are clubs and associations which you can join in ICAEW. So that's the part of personal and professional development when it comes to ICAEW. But as a whole, it enlightened my life and provided a new perspective to look and seek for job opportunities. And I found it really interesting. And as prospective chartered accountants, I highly encourage you to do more research about this scheme. Do some analysis, analyze your cost benefits, and get in touch with these resource persons and ask how best this would help you, and plan your life accordingly. Because if you work and if you determine to be a chartered accountant in some point in time, definitely that will add so much value to your life. And I highly encourage you to get in touch with the resource persons, and hope to see you as a chartered accountant soon. Thank you, and over to you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Kamindu Ravindra, for speaking to us and for the wonderful presentation and for giving us so much insight into the history of and your journey as well. So thank you very much once again. And now with that, we would also like to move on to our next presentation, which will be by our presenter, Ms. Kushmi Amarasinghe, the Assistant Manager of Tax and Regulatory at KPMG. She is a student of CA Sri Lanka as well as ICAEW. May I take this opportunity to now cordially hand over the session to Ms. Kushmi Amarasinghe. Ms. Kushmi Amarasinghe, I'm sorry, I think you are on mute. So until we do proceed with the next presentation, we would like to proceed with the Q&A session. And to proceed with the Q&A session, may I once again invite Ms. Lakmali Priyangika, Director of Student Affairs, to please join us for the question and answer session. A kind reminder that you, all the attendees, our participants, are welcome to please raise your questions. You may raise your hand on the Zoom option, or you may also present your question through the chat option, which I will be happy to read out to our panelists over here. So until then, we also do have our student society with us. Could I request a question to come from you? Could I request our students to please proceed with the question and answer session?
Yes, I'm from the Student Society. So my question is for Mr. Daniel. Can I know how can students pay for their student materials from CA Sri Lanka or the other?
Yeah, so if you're referring to the ICAEW learning materials, so the digital resources that we mentioned earlier, they're purchased through the ICAEW bookshelf. So if you go to ICAEW bookshelf, you search on Google, you can find all of the textbooks that you need on there, and obviously they're digital, so you'll be able to access those instantly. But as I mentioned earlier, for students that do sign up this year, there is the discount available. So once you've signed up as a student, or for anyone who's registered as a student, they get in touch with me or someone from CA Sri Lanka. We can give them the discount codes and the necessary details they need in order to access those learning resources. So they're the ones that are directly offered by ICAEW, but of course, if you're looking to sign up with the tuition provider, it will be directly with APIIT or the tuition provider that you choose.
Thank you very much. And may I direct our next, I believe we do have another question from our students here with us as well. Could I?
Yes, I'm Akash. So my question directly for the same study. So if students are planning to sit ICAEW exams, when do they need to register and follow the lectures?
Okay, so I think it was mentioned earlier that it's advised about 4 to 6 months is the best kind of time to give yourself the best chance to get into the exam and pass the exam. So, but having said that, you can prepare fully at a pace that suits you. So that's the good thing about the flexibility of ICAEW exams. I'm sure APIIT would be flexible in terms of supporting you through that process as well. So we do have the July exam window. So I do believe that now is still a good time for people to start preparing and students to start preparing for that July sitting, most definitely. If you're looking to wait till November, then clearly you can wait till 4 or so months before that and start preparing then. But we'd always say, so start planning those lectures now, start planning your preparation now. Certainly, first thing you should do is get registered with ICAEW so that you can access all of those necessary materials.
Thank you very much. And yes, I believe we do have a few questions from the Zoom platform as well. But until then, until we move on to the platform, could we proceed with another question? Do we have another question from our students?
Daniel, my question is, can a student withdraw the examination fees paid to the ICAEW before the application close date if any situation arises?
Not usually, no. I mean, yeah, once you've prepared and booked your exam, then you wouldn't be able to withdraw from that exam window. So that, unless there's some special circumstance, like a lockdown or some sort of pandemic. But yeah, unfortunately, no. So once you have booked in for that exam, you wouldn't be able to withdraw.
All right, thank you very much. And before we move on to another question, I believe we have someone that has raised their hand from our virtual attendees. Could I request attendee to please mention your name and to please proceed with your question as well. Could I request you to please mention your name as well as to ask us the question?
I am Ranga Pereira from Pagoda. I passed all the exam as well as the case study. May I know which exemption can I get? We have 5 another students similar category. We cannot complete the we cannot get the membership because of that English course barrier.
I will take that. I think, first of all, you as our student, I really don't like the way English course, it's not a barrier. Please understand, it's not at all a barrier. It's a part of your course. It is a module. It's a subject. So that cannot be treated as a barrier. And anyway, even if you are pursuing with ICAEW, the ICAEW partnership that we have came across is we mapped our entire syllabus with ICAEW. So that has this CS exams as well. So that those need to be done anyway. So I think you are, sorry, if I want to clear about your status. Are you, have you passed all the subjects in the strategic level and the case study? Ranga.
Oh, yes, all subject as well as the case study.
Right. So then they have to, there is another pathway. Yeah, Daniel, if you...
Sure, I can jump in there. Yeah, so you're kind of in an in-between phase at the moment because as long as you haven't gone into CA Sri Lanka membership, you would technically still be eligible to sit our exams under this joint scheme and join as a student and sit those exams. So you could sign up to sit corporate reporting and strategic business management in this July window, for example. and then sit your case study in November. And if you were able to get through those exams first time, then you would be welcomed to CA Sri Lanka and ICAEW simultaneously. However, if you do go into membership with CA Sri Lanka before taking your ICAEW exams, you wouldn't be eligible for this joint scheme that we're discussing today. You would be eligible for another route. So the top-up route is what we refer to on that regard, which is the route that Kamidu Ravindra was telling us about. That was the route that he did. So that's kind of supersedes the route that we have now. So it depends kind of how quickly you go into membership with CA Sri Lanka, I guess, and whether you're looking to do that straight away. If so, then you'd have to do the top-up route. If you're not going into membership straight away, then you can come and do the ICAEW exams this year and qualify under the dual scheme. Hopefully that's clear.
So Ranga, if you have only to do CS4 exam, I do not know what is.
Madam,
Yeah.
we have 5 students. All are in the same platform. We need to complete CS3 as well as one module of CS4.
Sorry, CS3 and
CS4.
certificate level.
No, that the English course only.
Yes. So you have to do CS3.
Yes, CS3 as well as
And
the one module in the CS4. We complete
okay.
another 3 out of 4. We complete 3 of CS4.
Oh, but you haven't completed the CS3.
Yes, we ask can we complete that remaining CS4 that module that they did not give any favorable answer to us.
No. What you need to do now? Now you need to do other 3 modules in the CS4.
No. We complete out of 4, 3 we complete.
So one module you have to you have to complete.
Complete as well as the CS3 also remain.
Okay. So CS3, those are mandatory because we have given 3 years concessionary period considering all the issues. And this year, I think for about 2 years, we have been communicating to the students that last year, December was the last chance. So we are very strictly following that year from January, but we have given you many options. I mean, many exams were given, and even for CS3, you can do the placement test and do the exam, right? You don't want to follow the course. So you can do a placement test. You talk to Ms. Achala at Milk. We have given that facility also. And for that one module which is remaining for you all, you don't want to you don't want to follow the entire course. You have to only take that module only. Am I clear?
Yes, I am clear. Madam, can we do the CS4 remaining module?
Yeah, you can. But yeah, Ranga, you contact us, the Milk division, or you contact me tomorrow. Because now this session is we are actually focusing on to ICAEW. You can understand. Yes. Right?
If I could jump in, and I hope I don't speak out of turn, but what I would recommend that you do if you're interested in getting this dual qualification is get in touch with APIIT straight away and plan for those classes to sit the corporate reporting and possibly strategic business management as well in July. So if you can clear those exams, then by the end of this year, you'd be eligible to join. Obviously, these other skills modules that you're talking about will need to be completed. Apologies, I don't know too much about that side of it. But in terms of doing the exams to qualify for the dual membership under the academic side of things, then that's what I would recommend that you and your friends that are in the same situation, that's what I recommend that you do is sit for those, get in touch with APIIT and register with us on the dual scheme and prepare for those July exams.
All right. Well, thank you very much for answering the question, and thank you for asking the question as well. I believe we do have more attendees that have raised their hands. Could I request our next attendee to mention, or rather, okay, so I believe the attendee is not there anymore, but that's all right, because I believe we have another question from students that are here with us. Could I request you to raise your next question?
Thank you. My question is for Ms. Akmali. So in this, so we have to complete our skill courses in every stage. So in subject level, do we need to complete in from CA Sri Lanka side or ICAEW side?
But the skill modules from our side, because you need to understand the structure, because in ICAEW, those skills are embedded in the course units. Right now, see, we have structured our syllabus in a way which is more suitable to our students. So that is why we have taken the skills modules as a separate pillar and the knowledge modules as a separate pillars. So you have to, the skill module there in ICAEW, there is nothing like skill different, because those skills are embedded in the knowledge, right? So answering your question, all the skill modules and the practical training have to be according to CA Sri Lanka.
Thank you, Ms. Lakmali. Do we have any other questions from the chat option? Or if there is anyone, you're still welcome to raise your hands and ask us direct a question as well. Do we have any more questions from our students?
Yeah, I'm Manalka. So my question is for Ms. Lakmali. So as of it, basically we have covering the 3 years practical training for the CA qualification. So do I need to complete the practical training requirement for the ICAEW?
No. This our practical training, which is required for CA qualification, is recognized in ICAEW also. Then you are endorsing that, right?
Absolutely.
Yes.
So I think I mentioned earlier, we've gone through that process and we recognise that training that's delivered already.
Yes.
Thank you.
And also, Manilka, thank you for that question. I will add little more to that, because nowadays we can see a lot of our young students, once they complete their practical training, they are seeking foreign opportunities. I think UK is the most preferred destination in that task. So that if you have done your up to corporate level, and if you have done your training, practical training 3 years, and done your skill modules, and in case if you get an opportunity, we can consider giving you the online option also. So you can, if you get an opportunity, you can go to UK, and from there again you can exercise this this arrangement, because as you all know, for the students who get, the students who get a foreign employment or foreign resident visa, we offer only for them the online exam is available, right? For the local students, we don't do that, but if any student is getting an opportunity to go abroad, strategic corporate levels, we are allowing online exams. So that the same, even if those who have completed 3 years, I know these days many students to your firms, to your companies, you all are getting foreign employment. You can go wherever you want, and even from there, you all can exercise this opportunity.
Thank you, Ms. Lakmali. Do we have any other questions from our chat option? All right. Until then, do we have any other questions from our students here?
Do you have plans to start online classes as some students from abroad? So, do you have any plans? We will consider if there is a majority of the students who are abroad and who are requesting, we will definitely consider providing them the facility online as well.
All right, well noted. And I believe we do also have another question from our students as well. Can we direct our next question to our panelists today?
Mr. Mashi, I have one more question. You have mentioned previously that course fee is 360,000. Can I know that fees for per module or all 3 subjects?
No, this is for all 3 modules that you have to follow in ICAEW throughout. It will be 360,000. So it's for all 3 modules for the entire period. Yes.
All right, well noted. And unfortunately, due to time constraints, we do have to limit our questions. Thank you so much for our student society and all the students that are here with us this evening. And as well, thank you so much to all our attendees that asked us questions and for being a part of this as well. While we reach okay, that could be accommodate one more question if that's all right, to make maximum use of it. Is that all right? Could we have a raised hand, I believe. Could we request our attendee to please mention your name and direct your question?
I am Sajat. I want to know, I'm a CA Sri Lanka second stage students. I want to change my path to business analytics, data analytics sector. How I can continue this, my career?
Sir, can you come again? You are a business level student, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, miss.
Yes. So what you need to do now?
I want to continue business analytics or data analytics sector.
Okay. So what you need to do, you have to proceed to corporate level, and then you can get our specializations. So we have 6 specializations once you complete your corporate level. Data analytics is one of them. So we have facilitated our student with a very comprehensive course to get that specific specialization. So you can follow that course and then apply for the exam, so that you will be getting the qualification as CCA, specialized in data analytics. CCA, Certified Corporate Accountant, specialized in data analytics. So likewise, we have 6 specializations as to entrepreneurship, actuarial, governance. Likewise, you can go to our website and see. So you can be a specialist in that field. Did I answer you, Sajid?
Yes, miss. Thanks.
All right. Okay. Well, with that, we now conclude the question and answer session. Thank you very much to all 3 panelists. Thank you very much, Mr. Daniel. Thank you, Ms. Lakmali, and thank you, Ms. Himashi, for joining us this evening and for the question and answer session. We truly appreciate your feedback and your valuable time and support. With the end of the question and answer session, we would like to invite Ms. Kushmi Amarasinghe, who is available with us for her presentation. Could I cordially hand over the session to Ms. Kushmi Amarasinghe for her presentation.
A very good evening. Am I audible now? Am I audible now?
Yes, we can hear. Yes.
Yeah, it's good. Sorry, apologies for the technical issue that I had earlier on. So now we are at the end of the session. So most of the topics have been discussed. So now most of you all know about the qualification, the advantages, and Kamidu mainly talked about how you can pitch yourself in the market and how valuable this is. So introducing myself to the program, I might give you some of the insights and some of the milestones that I had. So I was introduced to the program back in 2019, and I was lucky. I was given the scholarship and all of that because of the opportunity that I got. I got the chance to follow this dual qualification, which has given me so much of recognition in the current workplace that I am in. And I would like to tell you and add to you that on top of what Ms. Lakmali and Mr. Kavindu talked to you on the recognition part, I want to add to you all that CA Sri Lanka itself is a very recognized body, it's true. And this would be a plus point to you if you pursue ICAEW. You will have even more recognition locally and globally. And this is done simultaneously, which is what you need to keep in mind. This is done simultaneously, and it is a unique opportunity that is given to you. When you are qualified, when you are into the program, when you are into the dual qualification program, you'll realize that you have more capacity and to deliver impact. You can deliver more impact to the world organization, and they would trust you more. So it's always a plus point to you. So don't hesitate if you're already a student of CA Sri Lanka. Do not hesitate to take this pathway. There is an investment to do, but the return is way higher. So I'll stop at there on explaining the benefits because all of them have spoken so far. So what I mainly want to discuss with you all and give to you all is a student's perspective on this. So me being in Sri Lanka and being employed in Sri Lanka and being in tax as of now, and being a student who has completed the subjects in Sri Lanka, I would like to tell you some of the points that you can take home and take advantage of and make use of when you do your exams and to pass in the first try. So a few of the things I want you to have in mind is just like the CA Sri Lanka exams, ICAEW exams are challenging. So we also have to take them very seriously. We have to be dedicated and committed. So myself, I did my subjects in one subject in 2020, 2021, and 2020. So for 1 year, I did only one subject so that I can be committed fully to the subject because it could be new to you in different ways. The thing is, when I started doing it, the way of doing exams online was very new to me. So that is something that I have never done. So locally, when I'm doing a subject, I would practice my writing speed, the calculation speed. I would be very familiar with the calculator, the shortcuts and everything. So online would be for some of you all, it would be new now, but I know during the COVID time, CA Sri Lanka also introduced the LMS system to do the exams. So you could find differences between the applications, but it's way more convenient when you get used to it. So when you're doing the exams, familiarize yourself with the website. So when you get registered, you will get the login details to your portal. There you will find your course manuals, the past papers, the reviewer comments, which I find amazing. I'll describe you later how to actually use the resources very well to your exam. And you might find videos also where they promptly describe you very clearly about the curriculum, the weightage, and the manner you should plan. So you should familiarize yourself as a student who is new to the ICAEW program. You should familiarize yourself with the website. So that is one tip point I have for everyone out there, familiarize yourself. Second of all, you will have, so as Daniel mentioned before, you can have the study materials for free now when you get registered. And it's highly recommended, I agree. Because the course content you should be thorough with. You should know what you're being tested if you are in the mindset of passing in the first try. So you have to have an understanding of the course content. So I suggest that you have a look and be familiar with the course content. So each of us would be doing CA Sri Lanka curriculum, as well as we may have knowledge we have accumulated from our degrees and other professional qualifications. So you always have to evaluate yourself and see how you could do the subject in the best way possible. So for me, what was convenient for me was I will have a thorough read on the course manuals. I have a huge trust on the course manuals. So I will always have a thorough read on the course manual. So I know this is from where this is getting tested. This is from where this is getting tested. This is the weightage for this section. So if I am to excel in this section, yes, I am sure to get these marks. So you should know the areas you're weak at, the areas that you're good at. So you have to have an understanding of your course manuals. I used to do self-study for the first 2 subjects. Luckily, I got enrolled for a tuition program with KBS with the help of Daniel for case study. I'm so grateful of. So if you are doing self-study, or else if you're going to join with APIIT, you have to be familiar with the course content. And second of all, you should give that time to yourself to concentrate and study. So I know we are all in this work, we are either working, we have commitments, but then again, you have to have that time for your subjects. And then you need to do the past papers properly. I find this very useful, and I recommend this to everyone. Once you have an idea of your course content, please attempt your past papers. Those are all there on the website. Have an attempt and see where you stand, because that is very important, because ICAEW is all about application. It's an open book exam, so your materials are there on the application. You can click it, you can open it, you can have a look at it all you want in any time period you want, but you should know the applicability, how to apply a knowledge to the business organization. So that's what they value. So what I have understood so far doing exams is that if you are competent in showcasing your knowledge and applying it to the organization that is there in the paper, you are highly likely to get the best out of the exam. You will get the best marks, because there is no discrimination there. If you are showcasing that you know this, you know how to apply this, and you're competent in what you're saying, even the tiniest things would matter. Even the tiniest things would matter. So they give you marks for that. So that is what I have seen. So there's a section where they give, in the website, there's a section where they give reviewer comments. That is a marking scheme they give you. And on top of that, there is a section where the markers will give a comment on the best answer sheet and the worst. So I think that is something very interesting I find in ICAEW, is where you can scale yourself prior to the exam. When you do the paper, you know, my God, I'm not up to the standard. Or, you know, I'm very good at this topic, but I'm not excelling in some of the areas. So, you know, these are the areas that I need to improve. So these materials are very important, and I suggest that you all have a look at it. Reviewer comments are very detailed. They'll tell you the best student wrote the answer in such a way by giving these points, and the worst student was not competent, was not showing these qualities that should be there in an answer sheet. So I recommend, as all students who are there in the program, to have an understanding on your core areas and the areas that you need to improve. And when you're getting prepared for the exams, you need to manage your time. Now, since we are doing it from here, for me, it was always remote invigilation, just like technical difficulties I had earlier. I usually stress out when I have these technical errors coming in. When you're doing remote invigilation, you have to keep in mind you are sitting it remotely. So here in Sri Lanka, the infrastructure would be a little off. But for me, I sat for all these exams during lockdowns, COVID, and case study I sat during the time we had so many hours of power cuts. So I want to encourage you all, if I could make it with all these infrastructure difficulties, then you can, not to worry about remote invigilation. what you need to focus on if you are doing the exam through this remote invigilation mechanism. You need to practice your time, to manage your time. If a paper is for 3 hours, 3.5 hours, or 2 hours, you need to practice your time. This is very vital when you're doing the case study. Case study is very different, very challenging. Just like Daniel mentioned, it's the structure is quite different, but it's possible. So you need to practice your time very well if you are doing it online, because anyway you are doing it online, and through remote invigilation, because tiny things could stress you out, but you need to get yourself into it and continue. So get used to the time. So keeping those points aside, I would like to maybe give some of the support that I received from CA Sri Lanka team, because they have been with me through all these years. I'm very grateful to Miss Lakmali, to Miss Lakmini, and Daniel. I met Daniel before I sat for the case study, and I said, oh my God, the case study is coming up. And thank you all for all the support. So I'm telling you all, they are all there for you. If anything, they'll give you the support that is needed and guide you wherever necessary. So do not have second thoughts on this program. They are encouraging you all to take the best qualification that is there in Sri Lanka as of now. So APIIT is also there as an organization to give you that support to be there, because for the case study, I know how important KBS was for me, because I thought maybe I could do it on my own. But then Dan was like, just try it out, because case study is different, and it was. So now APIIT is there for you to help on that. So don't have second thoughts on this, and it's this is an amazing qualification. You will realize it when you do, the confidence that you get. So I encourage all of you to enter to this program and understand how impactful it is to your life. Thank you all.
Yes, thank you very much, Ms. Amarasinghe, for all the encouragement and for the wonderful words and presentation as well. And with that presentation, we have officially reached the conclusion of today's CA Live program. And we would like to take this opportunity to thank all our panelists and the presenters that were here with us this evening. Once again, we had with us Mr. Daniel Vesti, the Senior Business Development Manager from ICAEW, as well as Ms. Lakmali Priyangika, Director of Student Affairs. We also had with us Ms. Himashi Dimel, the coordinator for ICAEW from APIIT. And we would also like to thank our presenters, Mr. Ruvindra, as well as Ms. Amarasinghe, for joining us this evening. Thank you very much for the time and effort that you gave us this evening. We truly and sincerely appreciate all the valuable feedback that was given to us. Thank you so much. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, we officially conclude today's CA Live session. This has been a program that has been brought to you live from the CA Sri Lanka Biz Studio itself, which is an initiative that has been organized by CA Sri Lanka. If you do wish to communicate or contact, or if you have any other further inquiries, you are more than welcome to visit the CA Sri Lanka website, which has a special frequently asked questions section for you, which will have a lot of these answers readily available for you. But if you do wish to have further clarification on any further inquiries, you may contact the CA Sri Lanka Education Division on 011-2352-000. I'll repeat that number once again. It is 011-2352-000. and the extension number is 1424. Once again, the extension number is 1424, or you may email lakmini.perera@casrilanka.org. Like Ms. Lakmali mentioned previously, these numbers and email addresses are readily available on the CA Sri Lanka website, and you may please do feel free to reach out to the education division on the number or on the email address as well. And if you wish to communicate on tuition classes, you may contact the APIIT campus on this following number. The number is 076-578-8788. Let me repeat that number once again. It is 076-578-8788, where their APIIT counselors will be happy to help you out on any further inquiries, or you can also email them on info@apit.lk. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that is officially the conclusion of our CA Live program. Once again, we are live here from the CA studio, which brought you the CA Live program, an initiative brought to you by CA Sri Lanka. Thank you once again. Have a lovely evening. Thank you and good night.